Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the comments, some of you have expressed an interest that you would like to hear me read my poetry. And so I have been deciding which one to read to you, and I found it. This is my self-published book, for those of you not aware, Connected to Source, A Journey of Experience. And this one is called Wonderment. Whatever happened to the easy bake oven, making mud pies outside, full of rocks, spit, and lovin'? Whatever happened to late night hide and go seek, sweat-stained Saturday play clothes that proudly reeked? Lite, Brite, Payday, and pickup Stix. Tootsie Roll pops that questioned how many licks. PBS educational cartoons and Sesame Street. Speed Racer in the morning and Soul Train beats. Whatever happened to Garanimals too, when clothes were matched by animals found in a zoo? Whatever happened to battery-powered boom boxes blaring in the park, where families and friends gathered and stayed way past dark? Whatever happened to Fantasy Island and Love Boat and running around in the cold without a coat? Whatever happened to sticking out your tongue at someone you didn't like, or showing up at a park with nothing but a bike? Whatever happened to before bedtime tickle fests? You couldn't stop giggling when you were supposed to rest. It's never too late to sometimes feel like a kid, to go back and remember the things that you did, to remember when the world was filled with wonderment and love, to believe there was someone watching you from above. It's never too late to go back to childhood and now turn any bad stuff that happened into good. I've spoken about my childhood in foster care, and I've shared some pretty intense and intimate experiences of my life. And poetry I started writing as a teenager, and it's a bit of an escape for me, a release, an artistic expression. And so this Wonderment, I think, was written around like 2007 or 8. And I was just thinking, one day of the things of my childhood, things that brought me joy and, good memories. I've certainly shared a lot of the challenges of my childhood and abuses and things that I endured. And so to do my best to heal from those experiences and to retrain my brain to focus more on the good experiences, on the moments that brought me joy in childhood, because there were those too. And so everything in this poem is something that I remember from childhood, and something that brought me joy, something that I look forward to. Speed Racer on Saturday mornings was just something I couldn't wait to see. And Soul Train, my mom and I danced to Soul Train in my front room when I was a little girl. I don't know if I ever had Garanimals, but I remember seeing them in stores with the matching zoo animals on the tags and thought that was so cool. I'm a bit fashion challenged, I guess, is the right term for it. Jeans and t-shirts, good. Anything else, it's like I have to really think about, does this match or what? Battery powered boom boxes. I grew up with that. And at one point in my childhood, I lived at the end of a street that was up against a public park. And so there were lots of memories of being in that park and playing, and so many people and families and parking lots, having their back then, if there wasn't, what do they call them? I mean, they'd literally like pull down the station wagon door and put the grill on it. And there's like a term, and it escapes me right now. I'm sure you can leave it in the comments for me. But yeah, I remember in particular one time being at this park, and a lady was serving food, you know, to I'm sure her family and friends, and I just happened to be playing with the same, you know, these kids. And she's like, "Honey child, you hungry?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I got fed, you know, honey child. That was, you know, one of those endearing terms. So, Fantasy Island, Love Boat, all these things, sticking your tongue out at someone you don't like, you know, you didn't have to use words. It was just like, "I don't like you." All of this stuff. And I've talked about my healing journey on Patreon. I also on Patreon talk about my poems, not only in this book, but I have quite a few in this that I've gathered through the years. So I speak about my poetry there, I share it, and I share the inspiration behind it. And so that's what I've thought to do here, especially with this poem and inner child healing, and really any, you know, challenging time of your life that you feel like you have to sort of work to process and get through. So much of our adult challenges do come from, you know, carry over from childhood, in my experience. And so in this particular poem, at the end of it, it's never too late to go back to childhood and now turn any bad stuff that happened into good. And so I've been working specifically on inner child healing actively since about 2016, and processing things comes out in poetry sometimes. I journal most days, and exercise, stay close to nature, you know, things that also were part of my childhood that have carried into adulthood, but they were intuitively healing parts of my childhood. And I didn't really know just how important those would be until now in adulthood, and still having that attachment to nature where it's grounding and healing and peaceful to me. Writing poetry is grounding, it's a release. Yeah, so, you know, as you listen to this this video, maybe think about your own challenges in life and what goes back, you know, to your childhood. What things are you working through, and what ways have you found? What kind of tools have you gathered to find to help heal and soothe those wounded parts of you that you endured in childhood, whether it was verbal, emotional, sexual, physical abuse, all of them. I did live through all of them, and quite severe. So there is healing, there is good, there are things to focus on that are so helpful. And this poem, to me, whenever I read it, it's like just going back and all those happy memories coming forward. So hopefully it touched you in the same way. And leave me a comment as far as like your healing journey, or tools that you have found that are really helpful to you. And also, if so inclined, on my Patreon, you can follow for free. You don't have to join a paid membership. There are things that I do post that are available for anyone that follows. And my poetry is now beginning to be one of those things that I will be speaking about, generally in audio form and sharing, and that I will post it so that everyone can hear there. So give me a follow, Patreon, Tina M. Thurston, and thanks for listening. Until next time.